KILR Killer Game.
Hello gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer and welcome to the tour around the world featuring SubLogic Flight Lite. Alright, we're here continuing the world tour, airport to airport, doing the same thing as we've been doing in the other flight simulators. Let's go ahead and pull up that map and talk about where it is that we're going. Okay, so on the map that we were using previously, it doesn't go down any further. Now I do have the actual map, because that copy of that map is actually the same style of map that is used on the SubLogic East and West scenery discs for SubLogic ATP and Flight Simulator 4. I don't think it's in here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it is on here. The scan just didn't go very far. But, yeah, so the map that comes with here, it just has sections of the map of the areas that's mainly covered with SubLogic Flight, but the CD copy actually has the whole US on it. So we're basically going from here to here, and you're probably thinking, huh? Like, I don't see nothing. Well, this is where we're at. This is using the old SubLogic map from Flight Simulator 2, and also 3 and 4. Bloomington-Normal is where we're at, and we're going over here to Champaign, University of Illinois-Willard, which, as people will know, on the default Chicago area map, it is the furthest south you could go. Right down there. It was the furthest south that you could go back in those days. And then when SubLogic started adding scenery discs, then you could go further. But so this is where we're going before actually doing all of that. So University of Illinois, Champaign is where we are headed. And what we're going to go ahead and do is, once again, we can set up another quick route setup. I don't really think we're going to need to do that, but which direction? Take that runway. Destination, BMI to CMI. About ready to go here. As soon as I get the radio information. So we're going to be flying at a heading of say about 125. Champaign-Urbana is 110.0. So we'll go ahead and tune that in here. And we can go ahead and get going. There was another under graphics settings, when, oh no, those windows, that's adding windows. You know how on Flight Simulator 3 and 4 you can add like a radar window, and you can, that's what that is. So if you wanted to have a window that shows looking out to the left and out to the right and behind, that's what those windows are for. And so that way you can set up different views. Oops. I did something. It's still nighttime. Again, I think that's another thing that I do that other content creators have not done, and that's flying at night with these simulators. Because, I mean, well, let's be honest, there's not much to see. But I like flying at night just as much as I like flying during the day. Okay, there's the other run right there. Let's move over to that one. Yeah, exactly. So that's like the external view window. It's exactly what it is. Except that there is no external view window on this. You can't really see your aircraft. I mean, seriously, this is like going back to the basics of when they first started. Because with Flight Simulator 1 and 2, you could not see your aircraft. You were stuck inside. That was pretty much it. And since they had to completely redesign a simulator from the ground up, well, this is what we have. Out of curiosity, I was wondering if the B key was the brake. It's not. Okay, so for anyone who is following along with us as far as the flights are concerned, and you're trying to figure out how in the world do you fly this thing, sounds like the Jetsons. Jane, how do you fly this thing? The numerical keypad, the plus and minus keys are your flaps. So, and down here in the corner, this is the throttle right here. Here's the flaps. So I just need to hit the minus key to bring them up. Throttle works just like it does in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You use the numerical keypad, the 3 and the 9 for your throttles, up and down. 4 and 6 is your ailerons, left and right. 2 and 8 is your elevators. And then your pitch trim, 1 and 7. So just as we know. Now the rudder, on the other hand, when you're doing ground steering, it's actually the period and comma on the main keyboard, or basically the less than, greater than sign. You don't have to hit shift for it, but that's if you think of those the greater than, less than sign with like arrows pointing in the direction, that tells you which direction that rudder is going to be going. So we're all set to go, and full throttle we are going. Wave goodbye to Bloomington-Normal, everyone. Bye. Thanks for the beer nuts. So your marker lights are actually on the side of the artificial horizon, or attitude indicator. So here we're seeing the middle marker light up. The color lights you see in the background there, that is acidity. That's what's used to represent acidity. If you look close enough, you might notice there are clouds in the sky. So here's one, and there's another one down here. Interesting enough, this does have a few enhancements that Flight Simulator 4, 3, and 4 did not have. One of them is a gradual change of day. From day to night, you actually have a gradual color change for dawn and dusk. The clouds are also better. So there are actually a few things on this that were actually better. Not many, but there were a few things that were better than Flight Simulator 4. Because when we first saw the sun go down, we were rather amazed and surprised on how the color was gradually changing, and it looked great too. I looked at that thinking, wow, if only Flight Simulator 4 had that. Alright, looks like we're getting a signal from Champaign. Let's center the needle so that way we can fly there. And we almost got the right heading. Look at that. Go and use the autopilot. We'll level her off right here at 3,000 feet. Take a look out the right side, the left side, behind us. That's the Bloomington Airport back there. Right here, in case you're wondering. I can't see my mouse very well, but right there. Huh. Now, when you say you haven't flown since 2000, are you referring to real flying or flight simulator flying? Well, okay, you do say at night from home, so I guess that really is real flying. Because the first thing I thought of was like Flight Simulator 2000. You know what? I haven't been in an airplane for a long time either. Not as long as 2000, but because there was one business trip that I had to go on. The one and only business trip I ever took that was company paid. I think that was something like 5 years ago. I used to love flying on airplanes, like flying on airliners and stuff. I don't like it anymore. It's not the same. Because of all the security you got to go through. Now some flights don't even bring you a bag of peanuts or anything. And if you do get a bag of peanuts, it's like this tiny little thing that has like maybe 2 or 3 peanuts inside of it. I mean, flying used to be fun. And that's what I remember as a kid. I loved airports. I was fascinated by the airports, and the gates. Being on the airlines, and that always fascinated me. But flying nowadays, it's just not the same. Yeah, you're right. I have not ridden Greyhound. But that's exactly what it feels like, though. It feels like you're on a bus with wings. And if you want a snack, you have to dig in between the seats to find it. That's what it seems like. Unless you're flying first class, then it might be better. I flew first class once. And it was because I was flying by myself. I think I was like 10 years old. I was going out to see my grandparents. And so I was on my own. And they got the flights mixed up, screwed up. And I was like at a layover at Dallas. On my own. Of course, back then you didn't really have to worry about stuff too much. Now, like, my daughter is 20. Oh, she will be 20. No way would I let my kid, only 10 years old, fly by themselves now. No way. But back when I was 10, it was no thing. It was not a problem. Yeah, so here I am, all by myself, nervous, wondering, if I'm going to be stuck in Dallas or whatever. And my mother, she threw a conniption fit with the airlines, and I wound up getting a first class nonstop ticket back home. And I'm telling you, I loved every minute of the flight. That was like the best flight ever. Nice big comfy chair. Stewardess, well, we call them flight attendants now, but stewardess back then, always come by. Is there anything I can get you? Would you like another drink? I mean, that was service. That was awesome. Flying coach, you might as well fly in the freaking cargo hold area. You might as well go fly with the baggage at that point. because it seems like the economy coach class, you're basically packed in like sardines, like a whole bunch of luggage. Screw that. I'd rather just take a road trip. You know what I mean? Get into a car, drive, and see some stuff along the way. Stop at little restaurants and stuff. You know, I only fly unless I have to. If I have to get somewhere by a certain time, then I'll fly. Which I've not had to do for a long while. That is the only reason that I'll fly. Yeah, you're right. It was a whole nother world back then. Whole nother world. What the hell world do we have now? It's not one I recognize. Don't want to depress anyone. Oh, I figured out what the red marker is. The red marker is the heading bug. A heading bug, I think. Nope, maybe not. I think... No, actually, I think this is the heading bug. We'll figure it out on the next flight. Might look up a few things here. "41 states. Wow, that's impressive. I've not done nearly that many states. I think when I got my copy of Flight, SubLogic Flight, it was a brand new copy. I've got everything in here. I got the registration card and everything. So this is like perfect for a game review. Why am I looking at the map? That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to look at the manual. Let's see. I had been reading this manual on previous episodes. 6. This is the horizontal situation indicator. This instrument combines the functions of a heading indicator with the approach, landing, and general navigation function, coupled to the Nav1 radio. A rotating compass card shows your direction of flight. The compass is gyroscopically controlled and is not affected by factors that can induce errors in a magnetic compass. I think that's actually where we left off the last time. A digital heading indicator in the top center of the HSI. So, right here. That's our actual heading that we're flying. This confirms your current heading. A reciprocal heading indicator in the bottom center, which we see right here, of the HSI displays the 180-degree opposite heading. The heading bug indicator in the lower right corner, yep, that's the heading bug, of the HSI is used to set a target heading for the autopilot to follow, or to set a pilot reference heading. And I see the airport. I see the arrows for the airport up there. Navigation components of the HSI include a course deviation bar that rotates with the compass card. We can see that right there. An omni-bearing indicator, OBI, that mimics the selected course pointer. So And here we go. We can see the two headings here. To from indicator, the little arrow. A glide slope deviation, that's right here. And a DME indicator, which is up here in the corner. Of course, this right here is your vertical speed indicator. Shows your rate of climb or descent in feet per minute. The instrument is calibrated to 1,000 foot increments. The needle rises or drops to indicate the rate of climb or descent and indicates level flight when centered on 0. This instrument measures the rate of air pressure change. Is not affected by absolute barometric pressure. Yep, so all the pretty little colored lights over there is Champaign. There's another airport. It's brown, but it's right there in the center. Can't really see the mouse, but that is Frasca Field, I believe. If I had the heading mode on, that's the thing. I'm not sure which one is the actual heading. That might be. See, I need to look up these again over here, because there's one here that says autopilot N1, N2. Well, then there's HB too. So maybe that must be heading bug. So I guess if it's either interesting. Interesting. Okay. That does move around. I thought it was just up or down. It's not. It actually does point to the other options there. Yeah, so HB is heading bug. So we figured that one out. Yep, HB is heading bug. We'll go and drop some flaps. Whoa. Whoa. This is where control of the simulator is. The flight dynamics are not the greatest. This is where I really would like to get my hands on the full versions of X-Plane 1 through 4, because I would love to see how those actually fly in comparison to the Microsoft Flight Simulator, because it was like similar to like Flight Simulator 4 or 5 as far as looks. So and you see blue, that means that we got taxiways at this airport. And I see what looks like a fuel box also. If you look to the left in the taxiway section, there is what looks like a brownish orange thing, and I think that's the fuel box, and I think we're also a little too low. This is not the most easiest thing to fly with a keyboard. There we go. That was a much better landing than the ones I did in the past. That was way better. Hey, Shadow. Good to see ya. Yeah, it's an odd hour. It's an odd simulator to be messing around with. Glad to see you again. I hope you're doing well. Where does this fit in the whole flight simulator? We'll talk about that as soon as we park. Oh, no, look at that over there. It looks like there might be some buildings or something over there. We're in Champaign, by the way. This is the infamous World Tour series, where we fly the same flight plan in all the different simulators. There may not be a fuel box over here. I thought there was. I think what I thought was a fuel box actually is not a fuel box. Yeah, I saw this stuff over here. More like 1994. Remember, this first came out as Flight Light, and then there was Flight Light Deluxe, and then SubLogic Flight. Whoops. Yeah, I guess we'll just park it right here. Yeah, this looks like a good place to park. Alright, that's fun, and I had a good time. Hope you had a good time. It's great having you here with me. And if you're having a good time, be sure to like and comment on the video, because it helps it out and helps me out and helps the channel out, helps the series out. And subscribing, great thing, doesn't cost you anything. You know what you get in return? You get notified of future flight simulation content that gets uploaded to the channel. I'll let you know what's going on. And if you like the old flight simulators, hey, you're going to want those notifications. And then, well, you know I've been streaming this while recording, so head on over to Twitch. I think it's that way. Yeah, head on over to Twitch and follow me there, because you get notified of when I go online to do live streaming, and it lets you know of what's going on, so that way you can be a part of the show just like the other folks have been part of the show. Get to ask me questions, get to fly with me live as we're doing it. So I'd love to have you there. And then Instagram, so you can see all the pictures of projects that I'm working on behind the scenes. Gives you kind of like a little inside look of what's going on. Twitter for all the official KILR news announcements and retweets that I think you might find interesting. Snapchat just for silly fun, and Patreon for those of you who would like to support what it is that I do, and help. I just got hiccups, and help me be able to build this channel up into more than what it is, because I can't do it by myself, and any help that you're willing to provide is greatly appreciated. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you on the next leg of our exciting journey around the world. Or, well, mostly the world. Have a killer awesome night.